Hello students, you are welcome to the last session of Unit 1, and in this session we shall be looking at the structure of the JHS Mathematics curriculum. Let's look at the objectives for the session. At the end of the session, you should be able to explain the structure of the JHS Mathematics curriculum. In our previous session, we looked at the JHS Mathematics curriculum, the aims, the rationale, and the general objectives. I hope you enjoyed that lesson and you have looked at the questions that were given to you. The 2012 JHS Mathematics syllabus, which is the syllabus currently in use, is structured in 5 columns. So I'll show you a picture to see what we mean by 5 columns. But the syllabus is structured in 5 columns, and each of these 5 columns has names. And the first column, the name is units, followed by specific objectives, followed by content, followed by teaching and learning activities, and finally the last column talks about evaluation. So the syllabus is structured to cover 3 years. And as you know already, we have JHS 1, JHS 2, JHS 3. So that's 3 years of junior high school education. The contents for each year's work, that's JHS 1, JHS 2, JHS 3, has been divided into units. So the content, that's the topics you are supposed to teach, are divided into units. So JHS 1, you have 14 units or 14 topics that you are supposed to teach. And then JHS 2, you also have 14 units. While JHS 3, they have 7 units to cover before they write their BEC. And these units, there are 5 major areas of content that it covers. We have 5 major areas of content. We have numbers and numerals, number operations and algebra, measures, shape and space, collection and handling data, that's statistics, and then problem solving and applications. So we have these 5 major areas. So when you take JHS 1, for instance, 14 units. The 14 units, you have numbers and numerals, maybe having about 3 units or 4 units. We shall be looking at that. You have number, operations, and algebra in there. You have measures of shape and space in there. We shall be looking at all that. So these are basically the 5 major content areas covered in each year. So the syllabus is structured in 5 columns, as I said earlier on. And as I said, column 1 talks about units, column 2, specific objectives, column 3, content, column 4, teaching and learning activities, and column 5 talks about evaluation. So that's a picture of an extract from the 2012 JHS syllabus. So you can see the 5 units, the first column units, second specific objectives, up to the 5th unit, which talks about evaluation. So let's take the units by one by one, the columns one by one. The first column talks about units, and as I said, these are major topics of the year, and these topics are arranged according to linear order using unit numbers. However, you as a teacher, you can rearrange for effective teaching and learning. So if you think the way the topics have been arranged, you cannot follow them linearly, or one will serve as a prerequisite knowledge for the other, then you are at liberty to rearrange for effective teaching and learning. The unit numbers consist of 2 digits. The first digit shows the year or class, while the second digit shows the sequential number of the units. I'll show you an example, then you understand what we mean by that. So for example, a unit number like 1.2 is interpreted as unit 2 of JHS 1. So the first digit of the 1.2 is for the year. So this is JHS 1. And the second digit represents the unit. So unit 2 of JHS 1. So what do you think the digit 3.5 stands for? 3.5 will stand for unit 5 of JHS 3. The second column talks about specific objectives. And this one also is represented by 3 digits. Example 1.2.4. What does this mean? The numbers there, 1.2.4, are referred to as syllabus reference numbers. So when you see 1.2.4, we call it a syllabus reference number. And let's look at what they represent. The first digit, as we said, in the earlier on. The first digit represents the year or the class, so JHS1, JHS2, JHS3. The second digit represents the unit, and the third one represents the specific objective that unit is talking about. So 1.2.4, for instance, will stand for JHS1, second unit, fourth specific objective, or the fourth specific objective of unit 2 of JHS1. That is what 1.2.4 will stand for. So 1.2.5 will mean what? Year 1 or JHS1, unit 2, and what? Specific objective 5. The syllabus reference numbers provide an easy way for communication among teachers and educators. Yeah, so this is very clear. So when, as teachers, we can use these numbers for effective communication. So if you want someone to stand in for you while you're not there, and the person asks you where you are, you can use this for what? Effective communication. It's also used for selecting objectives for test construction. So when you are setting your questions, we use the syllabus reference numbers to make sure that all the objectives have been taken care of. The column 3 talks about selected body of information, that's the content to be taught. We shall be looking at subject matter, and you get to know more about content and all that. So the column 3 talks about the specific selected body of information, or the content that you have to teach in each of the 3 years. In some cases, the content presented is quite exhaustive. So, for example, the content maybe for JHS1 under sets, some of them are exhaustive. Thus, they contain the information necessary for teaching and learning. Others are not. You have to add more. And as a teacher, you don't have to use only one source of information. You need to refer to the syllabus, refer to textbooks, refer to get information online, and so on and so forth. So where the content is not exhaustive, you need to get more information to add to that. So as I said, you can add more information when you think the content is not enough. Column 4 talks about teaching and learning activities, and that is the teaching and learning activities that will ensure maximum pupil participation in the lessons. So you need to use a teaching strategy. So column 4 talks about those teaching strategies or activities that you should follow, step-by-step activities. So guided opportunities, people's questions are as important as teachers' questions. So you create the environment for your pupils to be able to ask questions, as well as you asking them questions to ensure effective teaching. So you have to, the curriculum demands that you emphasize participatory teaching and learning, void of rote learning and drill orientation method. So you need to let your pupils participate in the lesson, not that you give them the information and then for them to memorize it and come and pour down. No, you let them, if it's about formulas, you guide them to deduce the formulas, and don't just state the formulas for them to memorize and come and reproduce or recall. The syllabus gives suggested teaching and learning activities. You are free to reorganize. So as I said, as a teacher, you are the implementer of the curriculum. So you are at liberty, if only that will ensure that teaching and learning is effective, then you can reorganize them to suit the particular environment and the kind of students that you are teaching. And then finally, column 5 talks about the exercises that you have to give to your student or evaluation. And they can be in the form of oral questions, quizzes, class assignments, essays, project work, etc. So that's what column 5 talks about. And you have to challenge the students through questioning to apply the knowledge to issues and problems. The suggested evaluation tasks are not exhaustive. As I said, you as a teacher need to do more. Don't just take whatever you have in the syllabus to be sufficient. You need to add more to it. Syllabus cannot be taken as a substitute for lesson plan. So you know that you need to develop your lesson plans, and you'll be learning these things in other education courses as well. It is necessary that you develop a scheme of work and lesson plans for teaching the units of this syllabus. So You cannot say because I have the syllabus, I will not design my lesson plan or scheme of work. They are also very, very important in our teaching and learning. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the 6th session and for that matter, unit 1 of this course. I'll leave you with these questions. You look at them and then when we meet, we shall discuss them. Until we meet for our second unit, take care.